Your most powerful communication tool is not a perfect command of language. It's not a speech writing template, and it's not a set of gestures that catch people's attention. Your most powerful tool is creativity. Creativity is what helps you imagine life from someone else's point of view. It's what helps you craft compelling stories and help your audience feel your message on an emotional level. Creativity is what elevates you from robotic and forgettable to unique and inspired. It helps people relate to you. It helps set you apart and make your message stick. But being creative, for all that it promises freedom and fulfillment and delivers those things, can feel like a burden. For one thing, there's the stress of feeling like you don't have enough of it. Lots of us go through our lives thinking, I'm just not creative, which is not true. We'll get to that. But you do need to go through the process of finding your creativity, and you need to recognize it when you do. That's not easy, but it's easier than what comes next. Because once you find that creativity, it's tender and vulnerable like a baby bird. And you have to send that tender, vulnerable thing out into the world for everyone to see, because that's the only way that it learns how to fly. Kind of feels like a tortured metaphor, but I kind of feel that way about every metaphor, so I'm sticking with it. I was in my 30s before I was able to think of myself as a creative person. I'm not a talented musician or visual artist like my brothers are. I'm surrounded by creatives, authors, designers, and comedic geniuses. And if I compare myself to them, I'm always going to come up short. So that one day, about 3 years ago, when someone said to me, wow, you are really creative, my first impulse was to go, no, I'm not. Because here's the story that I was telling myself. I'm book smart. I'm a hard worker. I can take directions really well and I can implement them well. But I'm not an idea person. Definitely not creative. If anything, I'm kind of boring. Let me tell you about the truth that I've learned in the past few years since that person said that to me. I'm a free spirit who hates being micromanaged. I love problem solving. I'm a writer who can take complicated ideas and make them very simple and elegant and accessible. I can design a workshop that will transform a stressful, scary experience into something fun and exciting. And I can achieve the most difficult thing imaginable. I can make somebody change their mind. That is creativity. That's not everyone's creativity, but that's mine. And so when I accepted that reality and I changed my story from I'm boring, I'm not creative, I'm a follower, to I've got this creative genius inside of me and it wants to express itself. When I changed that story, I changed my life. My life changed. The thing is, sometimes creativity is hidden in plain sight. It might be your sense of humor or your gift for business strategy or the way that you can turn lines of code into something beautiful and useful. A little while ago, I did a survey in the Stage-Like Communications Facebook group, and I asked people, what kind of creative are you? And people gave me answers like, I make things and I make ideas. I find the not so obvious way to say or write or do things. Or one of my favorites, I make the impossible possible. These are great. We don't all share any of these things, but these are great. These are creative talents. So if you are struggling with the pressure to create, your first question is not, am I creative? Your first question is, what kind of creative am I? And how do I want to develop that? Then once you've got a pretty good idea of your answer to that question, it's time to put that creativity to work. This means trying things out and seeing what happens. If you really want to grow, it also means getting feedback and trying again. Sometimes fear of failure will hold you back, and sometimes you'll be limited by the things you don't know. That's why it can help to have a mentor, a teacher, or some kind of accountability mechanism that will inspire you and keep pushing you outside your comfort zone. Here's another thing. Sometimes your creations will suck. Let me rephrase that. A lot of times, your creations will suck. That's part of the process, and that's why it can help to create safe spaces for yourself to experiment and get honest but caring feedback from the people you trust. But here's something really amazing about this process and about the relationship between creativity and communication. It's so amazing, in fact, that it forms the entire basis of my work. If you want to know anything about how I work with clients and how I approach public speaking and communications, this is it. Creativity and communication exist in a positive feedback loop. The more you strengthen and nurture your creativity and become more confident in your ability to create, the more confident and skilled you become as a speaker. And the more you develop your authentic speaking and communication skills, the easier it is to embrace the risk and the challenge of living creatively. They are self-reinforcing. You work on one, you're working on the other, and that can really accelerate your progress when you have an awareness of how they work together. So, my challenge for you this month is not to work on any particular communication skill. It's to explore and push your creative boundaries in any way that feels exhilarating to you. And as always, if you need some inspiration, some cheerleading, or some tough love, you can reach out to me with the contact information below for a free consultation and see where this adventure takes you. So be free, little bird. Fly.